So good morning and welcome back to the Ndalama Insights Business Show. I'm your host, Leslie Sinyango, and as always, we're here to turn your financial challenges into actionable insights. Today's episode is a special treat as we have our regular guest and finance expert, Mukonki Mukonkela, who will be guiding us through the world of government securities. Welcome to the show, Mukonki.
Good morning, Leslie. How are you?
Very well, thank you, and how are you?
I'm good, thanks.
Okay.
Just a quick feedback before we continue, because I streamed this to YouTube. The volume, I don't know the mics. You seem to be on a faint side.
Oh,
So I don't know what we could do to improve our sound so that our viewers on YouTube can get us. They really want to hear your voice, you know. They're like, because we've heard enough of you. We want to hear Leslie.
yeah, we will have to sort that out. I think it's something we can look into, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely look into it. All right. Now, today we basically are talking about investing in government securities. So we just dive in. Kongi, kindly explain what government securities are and how they work.
Thank you, Leslie. So this is really an interesting topic, and so many people are becoming aware about investing with the government. When we talk about government securities, we are talking about the fact that the government normally issues out what are referred to as debt instruments for the public to borrow money from them. So when the government issues government securities, basically what they are doing is borrowing from you, the public, from you and I. Basically, it's just the government borrowing from the public. And government securities are primarily consisted of two securities, if you like. So we have treasury bills, which are shorter term debt instruments, and then we have government bonds, which are longer term debt instruments. In Zambia, the government bonds range between 2 years to 15 years, and investors can either buy a treasury bill or a government bond. So treasury bills are shorter term debt instruments, which normally go up to 365 days. That's like 1 year. So that is what government securities are, Leslie.
How can our listeners invest though in Zambian government securities?
Very nice. So it's really quite straightforward for all of us to start investing in government securities. And the first thing you need to understand is that the central bank, not just in Zambia, anywhere in the world, is responsible for government securities, treasury bills, and government bonds. So they are the ones who are in charge of ensuring that they get funds from the public. So it's the central bank. In our country, our central bank is the Bank of Zambia. So through the Bank of Zambia, you can become an investor with the government. And the first thing you need to do is to open an account, which is referred to as the CSD account, that is Central Securities Depository account. Now, I must emphasize, and I keep doing this all the time now on my YouTube channel, that the CSD account is not a bank account. It is just a statement that you have with the Bank of Zambia that keeps a record of all your investments with them. And you don't need to have a number of CSD accounts. All you need is one CSD account, and you will use that for the rest of your life if you like. Every time you make an investment in a treasury bill or a government bond, we'll use that same CSD account. And it's really straightforward for you to open that account, Leslie. So when you go to the Bank of Zambia website, you'll find all the application forms and everything that I'm actually talking about on this program. You can find on the BOZ website. So when you go to the BOZ website, which is boz.zm, you will find under bonds the application forms for individuals as well as corporates. If you want to invest as an individual, you can download an application form. It's actually about 2 pages. It's really simple. Fill it in, and then within a few days, the Bank of Zambia normally gets back to you and gives you an account. And then going forward, you'll be receiving messages. They'll be telling you when it's open for you to apply for a treasury bill or a government bond. And that is how you can go about to start investing in government bonds. And I must also add that in addition to this CSD account, you also need a regular bank account, because the Bank of Zambia will use that bank account to deduct money for your investment. So you also need a regular Zambian bank account, which is denominated in Zambian kwacha. So those are the two essentials for you to open or to start trading with the government.
Oh, okay. Now, what's the difference between treasury bills and government bonds in terms of investment returns?
returns are all that's all. We are all interested in how much I'm going to make. So with treasury bills, you need to know that you can buy a treasury bill or government bond at a discount which is less than the face value. If with time, I hope I can explain what these terms are. Face value is the amount we expect you to make at the end of the maturity of the bond. So with a treasury bill, what you get is what is referred to as the interest. The first is that for the treasury bill, you only get the interest income, which is the difference between what you're buying the treasury bill for and what you eventually get, which is the face value. And then for the government bond, you get two types of income. Regularly, you'll be getting coupon incomes. And then at the end, when
And you're still listening to the Ndalama Insights Business Show, and if you're still around, then we do know you're interested. Now, we are here with Mukonki Mukonkela today, and we're discussing investing in government securities. So we now pick up where we left off. Mukonki, inflation is an essential factor to consider in any investment. How does inflation affect government securities?
Thank you, Leslie. And this is really important. Something that we want to play a blind eye to. We want to just focus on what's the coupon rate. Oh, the coupon rate is 15%. Okay, so I'll be getting this amount. Let's take into account inflation, because inflation, though it seems so unreal, it actually affects the buying power, the strength of the currency, and the buying power. So how much you could have bought in 1,000 kwacha yesterday is not the same as today. That is what inflation is. So the simple thing that you need to do every time you're making an investment is, what is the coupon rate? For example, in this case, the government bond, what is the coupon rate? You say maybe it's 15%. What is the inflation rate? So two questions to ask yourself. What is the inflation rate? What is the coupon rate in this case, or the interest rate if you like, and then compare them. If inflation rate is at 10% and then the coupon rate is at 15%, is that a good thing? What do you think?
Okay.
Inflation is 10, the return is 14% or 15%. It is a good thing because
It's above the
yes,
inflation rate.
exactly. It means that the actual real return that you'll be making on this investment, if it's 15%, is 5%. It's positive. It's a good thing. Had it been inflation is 10%, the coupon rate is 7%.
Then you make a loss, basically.
Of 3%. So every time you're making an investment, always ask yourself, what is the current inflation rate in the country that I'm investing in compared to the return on investment that I expect to make on this investment, even in the bond, treasury bills, or whatever you're making. And the reason you're doing this is for you to make good decisions, because if I'm not going to be making a real rate of return on my investment, why should I give the government my money if I can invest it somewhere else where I can actually get a positive return? So I always say, please, my subscribers, my viewers, my listeners, always do these simple calculations, because they do make a huge difference. In terms of the real money you make, you will get the full amount in terms of the money, but the buying power is where inflation becomes really critical. And so let's look at investments that are going to give us positive returns. And I do believe actually that the government bonds are but by the way, this is not professional financial advice. If you want professional financial advice, seek an advisor listed on the Lusaka Stock Exchange, especially when it comes to investing. However, I can add that looking at the research that I've done so far, investing in government bonds really seem like a sound path to take. Especially if you're not certain, or you're just starting out in terms of the investing world. It's the risk is lesser than going full blown on the stock market and trading on the stock market and things that you might not understand. So that's what I would add.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, how can investors manage inflation risk when investing in government securities, though?
So it's a bit of what I've touched on. You need to really read the economic and watch economic news, watch business news, follow the inflation rates, even interest rates. When Bank of Zambia is holding these briefs, it's very important for you to actually listen in and understand what they are saying, because it all affects all of us. So read the trend. What is the market? How does it feel like in the next few years? Where do I think inflation will be? what is the government targeting in terms of the target inflation rate for the next year? Because all these factors are what will indicate to you the direction in which the economy is going to head, and whether you should invest in a certain investment or not. Because if you assess to say, looking at the economic factor and the way things are running, I feel like inflation will never be at 6% as what the government wants. Maybe it will be around 12 with 10. I don't know. You assess for yourself, of course, looking at other economic factors as well. And then that will guide you. And of course, you're listening to experts as well, professionals in terms of how they are reading the economy. And then that will guide you to say, I think investing in this government bond might be profitable, looking at maybe the next 5 years and what the government is doing. Maybe the economy will grow bigger, and then whatever. All these things are going to help you assess the inflation risk and how you should actually carry out your investment. So do some kind of projection. It is a bit of work. So it's not like it's like many people like to say, no, it's passive income where you just give the money to the government and sit back and relax. No, you have to monitor, and this is how we monitor our investments.
Okay. And what role does the Bank of Zambia play in issuing government securities?
So BOZ is very central when it comes to government securities in Zambia. And there's actually some documentation. There's a policy guide that was issued recently, because in the past, for you to invest in government bonds, you can do it directly through BOZ, but also through your bank, by the way. So you can just tell your bank to say, please fill in this application for me for this government bond. So you can do it like that. But in future, there's been discussions of the banks playing a very critical role as individuals, not being able to invest directly with the BOZ, but it's going to be very important for the banks to actually play the critical role in terms of investing in government. So this is a whole new discussion that I'm actually going to be talking about very soon, because it affects the entire way our government bonds operate in Zambia, and it's quite interesting and something to look out for. But the key role of the BOZ is basically to ensure that they are the ones that collect government securities or work with government securities on behalf of the government. They also work with the Lusaka Stock Exchange, Leslie, because when you buy through the BOZ, it's like you're doing a primary trading directly with the issuer of the bond. But you can also work with you can also sell your investment in the government bond through the Lusaka Stock Exchange. That's the secondary market. So assuming that I no longer want to hold this government bond, I want to offload it. I don't want it anymore. I want money. Maybe something happened and I need my money right now. You can actually sell your investment in the government bond through the Lusaka Stock Exchange, which is what we refer to as the secondary market. So these two are very important.
Okay. Right, now, as we wrap it up, perhaps the last question for today is, how can government securities serve as liquid assets, and what other benefits do they offer?
So liquidity with government securities lies in the fact that you have the possibility to sell your investment in the government bond through the secondary market, which is the Treasury bill. And you can also use your investment in the government bond as a collateral or security to borrow money from financial institutions. So that is where the liquidity is. Unfortunately, our secondary market is another topic, again, for another day, because there's quite a lot that we need to improve in terms of our secondary market, because it's not really the way I would love to see our secondary market operate, blank as it is. But we do have that option. It sounds like you can just go to the Luce and sell your bond. Unfortunately, at the moment, it's a little bit more complex. You will have to go through a bank, and the bank will have to identify somebody who wants to buy your bond. And that is why I'm saying we do have quite a lot of work to do when it comes to our secondary market in this regard. However, those are the two options that you have. It will work as collateral for you, or you can offload it on the secondary market.
Okay, so you can actually borrow against it.
Yes.
Okay. It's like a house, so like it's the way they take a house being collateral. So.
Yes, Leslie, that's that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Mukonki, thank you very much for joining us today, and of course, the valuable insights as usual into investing in government securities. Thanks for coming through.
Thank you, and I'm really sorry for that phone call.
I'm sure it won't happen again.
No, it won't.
But either way, it's been a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you.
All right, to our listeners, we hope you found this episode helpful and insightful. Remember, knowledge is the key to successful investing. Join us again next Tuesday morning for another episode of Ndalama Insights Business Show. And don't forget to subscribe to Mukonki Mukonkela, the YouTube channel. Hit the bell icon to receive notifications for new episodes. Until then, take care and make wise financial decisions. Good morning.